How's the weather?
Wet and windy. How are you doing?
Good. Can I ask a question? How far, do you know Miami?
Yes.
How far is the airport from the cruise area?
20 minutes max.
20 minutes, because the airport's kind of west and the cruise is on the coast. And by the time you go with traffic, everything else, it's probably all of about 7 or 8 miles,
But 20 minutes.
but about a 20-minute drive.
Because we're going on a cruise on Saturday
Oh, nice.
from Miami to Mexico.
Met
Oh, how
people.
fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What cruise line are you going on?
NCL?
Oh, Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's our cruise line.
Oh, that's your cruise line.
You know, my dad was from Norway, so he always said, if you're ever gonna go on a cruise, you gotta go on NCL, they're the best. So we have done a bunch of them.
He's such a federalist.
So it's not very far.
No,
But you know you gotta fly in the day before, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we're staying downtown Miami Friday night, and then we'll go there Saturday morning.
Yeah, from downtown Miami, like the port is, 10 minutes tops.
Yeah,
Okay.
Where you are in downtown, but anyways, it's very close there.
Oh, good.
well, that's exciting. Have you done that cruise before?
No.
Oh, good.
Well,
Cool.
you're gonna go around the southernmost point of the United States of America in Key West, and then you go into the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay,
Yeah.
start, because we're a minute late.
We're a minute late. Sorry, Mark. The boss is.
Okay. No worries, no worries.
Okay, let's make sure everybody's muted. And I think we're missing Anne because she has a sprained ankle.
Am I supposed to be muted? Okay.
Yes.
All right, to get started there, we're gonna come to the center part of our mats. We're gonna face to the left side of our mats. We're gonna bring our feet about hip width apart. As we start Sunday fun day, good morning to everybody.
Your feet are way wider than hip width.
Sorry, wider than hip width apart means
Okay.
wider than hip width apart.
Okay,
We'll roll back
check.
the tape later. Mrs. Bickerson here. All right, so to get started, we're gonna take our toes and turn them in towards the center line of our body. We're gonna bring some straightness to the legs. I'm gonna hollow out the belly, and as we grow, I'd like you to imagine the clavicles, those bones that come across the chest to the shoulders. You're lifting up with them and letting the arms just kind of fall by the side. You're gonna take your palms now, rotate them face forward. You're gonna draw your hips backwards. You're gonna sweep your arms forward and up. Arms are gonna keep wider than shoulder width, and you're gonna raise them up as high as you feel, and then sweep them all the way back, stand tall. So this is the movement, basically pulling back the hips, keeping the legs straight, arms reaching up. And as we begin to warm up our body, I'd like you to kind of just explore the range of motion. Take a few breaths. As you inhale, raise the arms, and as you exhale, hips push forward, arms sweep back. And let's do this a couple more times. And then come back to a standing position with the feet still spread wider than shoulder width apart. It's the same that for Kirsten's sake. Gonna bring our hands under the hips. Now I'm gonna ask you to push the heels of the feet into the ground, hollow out the belly, draw the butt back and fold halfway down. And then raise back up. As you rise, you're pushing the hips forward, keeping those legs almost locked out. Keep those heels spiraling away from the center line. Have that little tension felt on the outer side of the hips as you draw back. You should feel the hamstrings kind of kicking in and raising up and lowering back down, holding down this time. You can let the hands descend towards the earth. Let the upper body pull. Let's extend the spine as you inhale and let the spine flex as you exhale. And then keep that pattern moving with extension with inhaling and exhaling, flexing.
Now, as you make this movement, I'd like you to continue to focus to draw the hips backwards, keeping the tension through the hamstrings, keeping that upper body, building some spinal mobility with the extension, flexion, inhaling, exhaling. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Inhale, extend, hold the extension, draw the hips back, pronounced weighting. You should feel a lot of the weight of the body now in the heel of the foot. You're drawing that bar back. Now, take your head and start to rotate it left and then right. As you make the rotation happen nice and slow, it's not a race. Let's draw the back of the head towards the sky and let the chin kind of guide the head through the motion from left to right. And then look down at the earth, step your hands up onto your thighs, push into the thighs and elongate the spine, pull along the neck by pulling the head forward. Clavicles, remember we talked about those earlier, I like to draw them up towards the ears. Keep that nice extension as you proud out the chest and keep the chest proud as you come all the way back up. Nice. Now, let's take the arms, reach them forward. We're going to make cups of the hands, the fingertips, thumb tips can touch. As we make the extension of the arms forward, I'd like you to spiral the elbows down towards the earth and pretend you're reaching the arms away. And while you pretend to do that, reach the butt backwards. Try to keep a nominal, if no bend at all in the knee. You should feel some nice tension in the middle part of the back. As we rise up, we're going to draw the shoulders back. And as we pull back the hips and shoot the arms forward, I'd like you to proud out the chest and keep that nice tension in that middle part of the back, standing and extending as we pull back, pushing forward, come back up, hold up for a second. I'm going to add something into this. Now, the fingertips, I'd like you to push them into each other and keep that tension as you spiral the elbows down and keep that tension as you draw the hips backwards and bring the arms forward. Different kind of movement now. Come back up, keep the tension in the tips, butt draws back, arms reach forward. And as you stand up tall, bring hands over heart. There we go. Nice. Now, take your right hip, push it to the right side, take your back to the center, and then take it over to the left. So we're just moving from side to side. Now, the side is a little bit misleading because it's a little bit of rotation backwards of the side you're pushing to. So the right side kind of opens up a little bit as you push to the right, and the left side similarly when you push to the left. All right, come back up. As the arms fall, shake out your elbows, shake out your shoulders, and then draw the hips backwards. Now, we're going to add into this movement where we take the right hip, open it backwards, and we're going to take the left hand and reach down towards the left foot. This may not go down all the way on your first try, but we're going to try to increase the range of motion. As we come up, we square off, then we draw the left hip back, and the right hand reaches down to the right foot. And as we continue this, we're going to alternate from side to side. You can use your other hand to put on hip if you want to. You can let it hang out. Now hold up. We're going to add into this. It's still part of our warm-up, believe it or not. I'd like you to take your heels and try to spiral them away from the body. Hollow out the belly. Draw back the hips. Open the right hip as you keep that external rotation in the heel. And then reach that left hand down. You should feel more intense pull on that hip. As we rise back up, keep the heels spiraling away. Push the hips forward, upright body, nice and tall. Kirsten's doing her own thing right now. Now, draw back, left heel continues to spiral away. Right hand reaches down to the right foot. So this is a new exercise for us. And as we work through it, I'd like you to kind of explore your range of motion. Important points of this: speed is your enemy today. It's nice and slow. Pulling and engaging in that belly button, drawing back the hips, opening the left hip nice and wide as you come to the left side, rising up, hips push forward, heels continue to spiral away from the center line, and you come down to the right side, that right hip
right hip pushes back, the left hip is rotating internally as the left hand reaches down. And as we come back up, we square off, hold up, push the hips forward, row the spine long, hollow out the belly, and then we start off to the left side. Left hip pulls back, right hip is rotating internally, right hand reaches down. And then come back up, keeping the tension through the heels, upright the body, crowd out the chest, pull those shoulders back, lift the clavicles nice and high, and then take the right hip backwards, rotate the left hip internally, reach down with that left hand, and come up, and just to capture the opposite side, same thing, same setup, internal rotation, right side of the hip, and left side pulls back, come all the way up to standing, step the feet in, shake them out. Nice. We're all done today. No, I'm just kidding, of course. We're gonna bring our feet now, hip width apart. Your hips should feel a little better, do they?
Mhm.
Yeah, nice. Now, we're gonna take the feet hip width apart. We're gonna turn the toes into the center line of the mat. We're gonna bring the legs nice and straight. We're gonna draw the shoulders up. So I've been using clavicle today because it's kind of just a different way to kind of cue the elevation of the shoulders. If you can imagine these bones like lifting up off the floor, if you will, holding them up now, very key, hollowing out. I'd like you to kind of make a conscious effort to pull in the belly button. Now, while we do this, I'd like you to take the thighs and try to pull them together. And they're just like a chopstick coming together, two different sticks, and then reaching back with the hips, hands are on the hips, and we're going to keep that chopstick action as we fold the upper body down. I'm going to keep the chopstick action as we unfold the body and come back to standing. All through the movement, I'd like you to maintain that tension, that pull of the legs together as you descend slowly. Keep the spine long, and as you rise, same thing, spine long, legs pulling together. Let's do this a couple more times. Initiate the movement by chopping through the hips, pulling the butt back, and keeping the upper body long, not rigid, but intense in regards to its contraction. All right, now step it out to the width of the mat, bring the sides of the feet to the sides of your mat, and then take the toes and step them into the midline again. Now, in this position, we're going to initiate the pull together of the legs. I'd like you to, as best you can, create a weight bearing to the heel. So draw back your booty so you can kind of get most of the weight there. Now, the ball of each big toe, I'd like you to make a pronounced effort. So take the small toes up off the mat and enable that big toe and the ball thereof to have a connection point with the heel. The weight's mostly in the heel. We're going to draw back the hips, keep the upper body nice and long. Legs are relatively straight. We're going to reach down to the floor. We're going to inhale, extend to a flat back. We're going to exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Folding is flexing, extending when we inhale. So we have two movements. It's just spinal movements. Everything else is actively working, but we just have that spine flexing and extending. Hold off on it. Step the feet face forward. In fact, let's just turn out the toes. So you have the heels on the mat, toes off the mat. And we're going to straighten through the legs. Inhale, extend the spine. And now as you bend the knees, I want you to lower the butt. And then push back up to long legs and bend through the knees and lower. You should feel a nice pull through those butt muscles, those inner thigh muscles. We're going to work the range of motion. See if you can sit down a little lower. You can only push as high as you can push, but you can always sink to new lows today, right? Okay. Pushing high, hold high, inhale, extend the spine. Keep the spine in extension now as you bend both knees and let that butt lower. See if you can get it below the level of the knees. If it doesn't go there, that's fine.
This is all about progress and movement. Keep the spine extending, bend through the knees. See if you get a little more depth this time. Push back up. And when you arrive in the up position, step your feet to face forward. All right, now inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. As you unfold, salute the sun. Come all the way up. Now, instead of trying to draw the arms back behind the head, I'd like you to keep the arms slightly forward of the head. And I'd like you to reach to the sky. Let the shoulders drift up. So you're kind of pulling all of this shoulder joint and the clavicle, not to use that word too often, but I just love it today. Pulling to the sky. I'd like you to keep that nice reach and then pull your hips back and then stand back up and pull the hips back and stand back up and oscillate between back and up. Now, range of motion, you can determine what is best for you. The thing I'd ask though is an awareness of your body. And if it feels like that low back is tensioning too much, the way to kind of remedy that is to engage more of that six-pack muscle of yours, keeping it nice and active. All right, stand tall, relax the arms. I could tell Kirsten was getting a little bored at this exercise. A little tired. Draw the shoulders up. Tired is good. It means that your muscles were actually working and fatiguing. Draw the shoulders up, open the palms, keep the clavicles high, sweep the arms back. Got to use it again. Now, while we sweep the arms back, I'd like you to straighten out the arms, and then I'd like you to bend the elbows and pull them higher to the sky, and then straighten the arms out. So we have the arms in a rear position, all the way back. As we keep back as far, we're going to draw the elbows up, and then sweep those fingers down, and do that a few more times. All the while, we're not letting those shoulders drop off the body, right? It's all about the elbows bending, keeping the shoulders high, and then relax. Sweep the arms forward, rotate the palms to face, cup the fingers, bring them together, spiral the elbows down, pressurize the fingertips, draw the butt back. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, raise the arms. As you inhale, raise the arms. As you exhale, let the arms sweep down, back. Separate the fingers, open the thumbs, let the arms sweep all the way back. And then come forward. Tips connect. Reaching forward, tips pressurize. Raise the arms high. And keep the pressure as you lower, open, and sweep back. And do this a couple more times. Nice and slow. Pressurization of those tips, very important as you raise those arms and as you lower them, and releasing, spiraling the thumbs backwards. Come forward, tips connect, push, elevate, and then bring hands over heart, stand nice and tall, and say, good morning, everybody. We're all warmed up. I know we've been working a little bit too. Let's take your left foot, step it back. High in the toes, heel aiming to the sky. That front leg, I'd like you to bend it and push the knee forward to the toe box. Feel that nice lengthening through the back part of the leg. And now we're going to change the orientation. So as we push back, you're going to feel the quadriceps kind of engaging and working. So we're going to work this range forward and back. Now, to intensify the work in that forward leg, you can use the back leg to push off and push into that leg. And it's important that the rate of speed of movement doesn't forgo tension of the muscles involved in the movement. So pushing forward, trying to get a little more depth. This is for ankle mobility, and it also relates to the mobility in our knee. So as we push back, it initiates from the front part of the foot. And we're going to keep that orientation where the ball of the big toe of that right foot is inwardly rotated. You can feel it connected to your mat. Let's do this one more time. And as we rise, take the back foot, step it forward, set up the opposite side.
Eye in the toes. Left knee bends. I have hands on hips. And pushing up, straightening that front leg. Down. Up. Adding tension with the push from the back leg. Slowly down and slowly up. This is also good for balance. We're working bilaterally here. So our core has to be working to keep us from spinning out or falling out. So we're coordinating, there we go, with our core. Come down, keep the push of that back leg. Slowly rise up. One more time down. And as we rise back up, back foot steps forward. We're going to separate the feet wider than the mat. And we're going to take our hands on hips if they're not presently there. And then we're going to lower down into a squat. Now, if you need to open the feet like I do, you're welcome to do it. Make sure we have alignment of knees. As we lower down, it's going to be like a big squat. Now, I'd like you to take your fingertips to the earth and see if you can get your butt down even further. Now, while you hold down here, take a big breath, inhale, extend the spine. Proud out the chest. Feel the different intention in those inner thigh muscles. Now, push the hips back to the sky, step the hands onto the thighs and rise all the way back up. So range of motion is what we're trying to increase, and it's the downward range, of course. Now, lowering down, getting down to where we can bring hands to the earth, lowering the butt, get it down as far as it'll go. You can also keep forearms on thighs if you need to. If that's the best or most success that you have, use that access. Push back up, stand tall, and this time, keep the legs straight, draw the butt back, and bring your fingertips to the earth. Take your right arm, open the palm to face forward, sweep the arm forward, and then lower the hips. And then come back up with the hips, return the fingertips to the earth, switch up sides, left palm reaches forward, squat, raise the arm, and alternate from side to side. As you alternate, the depth that the hips sink to, explore that a little bit. See if you can get down just a little lower. All right. As that left hand returns back to the earth, inhale, extend to a flat back, step your feet to face forward. Big breath in, exhale, hold the upper body, and Pilates style, one vertebrae at a time, stacking one on top of the other, coming back up to standing. Open the palms to face forward. I'm going to step back a little bit, so we're not smacking into each other. And then I'm going to turn the palms to face away from the center line of the body. As I inhale, I'm going to raise up the hands. Again, the orientation of arms, there's always this perception that farther back is better, and it may not be possible given our physiology. Now, draw the fingers to the sky, let the shoulders rise up, and then exhale, relax everything, but keep the clavicles high as the arms descend. So now we have a nice proud chest. With high clavicles, you can't go wrong. You're going to take hands into fists. You're going to draw your elbows back. And we're going to do some good mornings, because it is a good morning. With the legs relatively straight, we're going to draw back the hips and let the upper body fold halfway down. And then we're going to rise back up. Very important now to squeeze the elbows together. Chest is proud, folding halfway down, and then rise back up. Now, adding into this, I'd like you to push the knees forward, draw the hips back, fold down, and then rise back up. Adding another step into this, I'd like you to take your heels and try to push them away from the center line. As you descend down, bend the knees, Keep those heels spiraling away as you rise back up. Make sure the knees aren't following those heels. I like you to rotate internally with the knees, externally with the heels, rising back up to a straight leg, legs bend, folding in those hips, and then rising back up. And what the heck, one more time. All right, take the hands over hearts. Push the palms into face, sorry, push the palms to each other. We're facing forward. We're going to draw the shoulders open. Elevate the shoulders. Palms push hard into each other. Push to the sky. And keep the arms forward at the head. So we're not trying to get too far back. I'd like you to keep that nice pressure in the palms, lowering down. Shoulders are pulling back as we lower down the arms. And then pressurize the palms, push forward. Elevate the clavicles, push all the way up. And keep the palms pushing together as you draw the elbows back down. Chest remains proud. Push back up. Feel like I'm doing snack, crackle, pop with my shoulders, but I got a lot of debris in there from sports and stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for sharing that, Sean. All right, hands over heart and relax. Sorry, just relax the arms, shake it out. Gonna come all the way down onto our mats now. Oh, I'm gonna grab some water.
Cheers.
Cheers to everybody. Hope your Sunday fun day is going spectacularly well.
Good.
All right. To get started on the mat exercises we're doing today, gonna find our hip, left side, left knee on the left side of our mat. We're gonna go into the 90-90 job. So my right leg is reaching out to the right side. If you need cushioning, under that right knee or heel or toe of the foot, find your towel. And as we get into this spot, I'd like you to just have spinal flexion, just kind of hang up. And as we begin to assess what's going on with the hips, if you're starting to get any kind of cramping or any kind of unusual muscle pull, that's good, because it's a good exercise to help that go away. As we begin to elongate the spine, drawing up with that chest bone, pulling nice and tall, I'm actively working that muscle that pulls the belly button in. That's the transverse abdominis. I'd like you to keep it active with the six-pack muscle. And as you do that, I'd like you to take the right knee, lift it up off the earth, and then lower down. So this is external rotation of the right hip. And we're just basically using our foot as the hinge. As we raise and lower the knee, it's not dropping down and being forced up. There's tension through the movement down and up. Now the range of motion, you're trying to increase the up. See if you can get a little more height, a little more elevation in the right knee. Upper body is relatively calm. It's just the hip itself is making all of the movement. And you're going to feel those muscles highly working. Some of you may have fatigued already and being able to move, but this is opportune time to rest, recover, and join back in. We're going to do a few more repetitions. And as we lower this time, we're going to switch up sides. Oh. It's amazing how just lifting a knee sometimes can be so challenging. It just goes to show you. Now, same thing. We're going to go into flexion, extension, crowding out the chest, engaging abdominals properly. So hollowing out and six-pack in that sequence. And then left knee raises and left knee lowers. And we're going to raise and lower. Now, it's not an exciting exercise.
Are there exciting exercises?
Is any exercise exciting?
Well, you love squats.
Oh, no, I love burpees. I'm joking. I
Oh, you
hate
hate
burpees. To me, that's the last thing I just hate doing. But anyways, enough about me.
It's probably good for you.
Yeah, it's probably so good for me that I hate it so much. So we're slow up, slow down. Remember, try to increase the range of opening. Give it that little bit of extra. You might be surprised when you try it, like, oh, I actually got a little higher. Surprise yourself. All right, now we've done enough reps, almost equal to the opposite side. We're going to switch back and we're going to add on to this exercise now. So, same alignment as we started with. We're going to take our hands now and we're going to assist moving through point to point. So I'm going to basically take my right hand back, I'm going to raise my right knee and continue raising it so I can roll it over. And then I'm just going to use my feet as the hinge of my movement in the legs. And I'm using my arms to assist to start. Some of our more remarkably advanced students, like Kirsten,
Don't need to.
maybe not use it, but we're going to get there. We're going to try it. I'm going to run through a number of left to right. And then when you make the movement across, draw the spine long and rotate the shoulder. So on left side, sorry, if I'm on my right side, my left shoulder is rotating into my right knee. And as I rotate back up, it's nice and slow. And I'm basically coming down, spine long, all of the engagement, shoulders rotating through and all the way back up and over, opposite side. Rotate through. And as we come all the way back over to the beginning spot, now we add in. I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to lift it up off the earth. And I'm going to lower. And I'm going to do that 4 more times. And then I'm going to rotate all the way through, assisting with hands if I need, or you need. Opposite side, arriving there. Left foot now lifts up and off the earth. So why all the fuss about this movement? This is such a great movement that helps to facilitate mobility in the hips. And I'm going to come all the way back to start, and we're going to add it all together. So, open with the leg, close, open all the way, flip it over, take the left foot, lift it up into the air, lower it back down, and rotate all the way through, back to the opposite side. And lift the right foot, and the right knee drives the movement back over to the opposite side. Left heel lifts, left foot lowers. And when we come back this time, we're going to sweep those legs forward. Because we are moving on, folks. Moving on. Boy, I feel like a 20-year-old kid again. You?
Oh, I always do.
All right, so we're going to start to focus a bit on core activation. We're going to do some Pilates style split up. We're going to switch it around for some 8-point plank. We're going to look like a 20-year-old, got that 6-pack muscle thing going on.
Yeah, Mark's going on a cruise.
Mark's going on a cruise. Mark's got to look good. He's got to like have that cruise body all worked out. I can see him smiling, or is that a scoff? All right, so I'm going to bring my feet about the width of the mat in staff pose. Very important to be up on your sit bones, spine long, and proud for the chest. Clavicles, there we go again, nice and high, hands over heart. Now, Pilates style down. Drop the chin into the chest. Take the center part of the spine, begin to flex it. You'll notice that the low back is starting to descend towards the mat. Slowly lower the body all the way down. And extend the arms all the way above the head. Reach back as far as you can. Now, opportune time to pull the belly button into the spine. Let the arms sweep up over the chest. Drop the chin into the chest. And we're going into spinal flexion to raise up the body. Keep the spine in flexion. Keep it. Let the fingertips dive towards the feet. Feel that nice flexion in the spine, causing nice length in the low back and down through the legs, the backside thereof. As you inhale now, extend to a flat back.
as you exhale, flex back down and return back to the starting position. Arms sweep all the way back. And do this again. So the rate of movement is relatively slow, right? We're going to do this for a few more reps. Begin to descend. All the way back down. Stretch it out. And bring it back up. Very important to maintain the spinal flexion as best you can. That's really the engagement of that six-pack muscle. We're supporting that low back by keeping the belly button pulling up and in. That's the transverse abdominis. That's the belly band that helps to support the spine. Keeping those muscles very active is important because that's what we're exercising right now. In addition to all the other superfluous muscle. As we come up this time, instead of diving down, stay up and then move out that muscle tissue from your sit bones, come back into staff pose. Arms are reaching forward, beautiful. Now, reach the palms together, interlock the fingers, and open the palms by flipping them over. Now, inhale, raise the arms, exhale, lower. Now, the height you raise, I want you to be mindful here. If we're not pushing the shoulders forward to get the arms higher, I'd like you to draw the shoulders back and raise the arms simultaneously. You're crowding out the chest and lowering the arms down, all the way down and all the way up, kind of flossing some of the nerves that run through our shoulders. As we make this movement happen, enjoy the journey all the way up, push the palms to the sky, palms push away, elbows straight, all the way lower. Now, relax, shake it out, come all the way down onto your backside. I'm gonna grab a little sip of water. You're gonna take your right foot and you're gonna post it right by your butts, as close as you can. And we're gonna take the pelvis and kind of rock it down. So that's basically taking your tailbone and then starting to pull the low spine, the lower back into the mat. That's the pelvis actually rocking back. Now, I'm gonna take the left leg and the left heel, and you're gonna push it away from the body. You're gonna feel that left quad engaged. And you're gonna keep it engaged as you raise the left leg all the way up to 90 degrees. And now you should feel for sure, hopefully, the low back skin touching the mat. Now that you have that sensation, now that you're registering it, I'd like you to keep that and lower the left leg. Nice and slow. You may lose that sensation of the touch of the skin, but when you reestablish it, I'd like you to try to maintain it for as long as you can. Raise that left leg back up and lower it back down. Touch of that low back skin as best you can, maintain with the mat. And raise back up and lower back down and switch sides. As you begin the right side, it's the same process, right? Or correct? Or right. Very important to keep the heel driving away, keeping those quads engaged in that right leg, and maintaining as best you can that low back skin touch with the mat. So as we work our hip flexors here, we're basically working an extension to pull, which is the leg straight out on the floor, and to flexion, about 90 degrees. As we lower the right leg this time, step the left leg out to meet it. Bring the hands back up over your chest and Pilates style, come back up. You should feel that this is a little more challenging now. We've reduced and worked some of the hip flexors, so now you cannot assist as much in bringing flexion to the hips. So your raising up is more dependent upon those six-pack muscles. Reach back, sweep up, and a little bit faster, raising up and diving down, spine and flexion, very important. Got to keep all the muscles through the ribs nice and active. And one more time, up, and extend, and dive through, hold there for a couple breaths. As you inhale, extend to a flat back, walk your hands back into your body, back into staff pose. I got my hands on thighs. I'm going to shake out those legs. Wow, look at those muscles. All right, now nice and proud for the chest. Really. Keep the chest proud. Going to bring hands over heart. So as we sit in staff pose right now, I'd like you to kind of focus on spinal lengthening and cervical spine, the neck pulling to the sky, and clavicle elevation. So keep all of that actively working as we hold the staff pose. I'd like you to lean back ever so slightly. Now the leaning back isn't the flexion of the spine. Spine's still extending, correct? Good. Now keep the spine extending. Come forward and backward. This is going to feel a little more challenging in the hip flexors. And I'd like you to kind of work this range far back as you can without falling back down, all the way forward and back, and then Pilates style, take it down to the earth. Reach the hands back. Fingers pull one direction, toes pull the other. Feel that nice length with the whole body as you step the feet in about 5 or 6 inches. The foot is forward of the knee, so it's farther away from the hip than the knee is. I'm just going to adjust my shorts there. Oops. And we're going to take the left leg and wrap it over the right. Going to try and keep the legs as close together, the knees as close together as possible. We're going to start by pulling the right leg to the right side and begin to pull that left leg and left hip. And then we're going to take the left leg, pull the right leg back to the center, and then with resistance, the right leg pulling away to one side as the left leg pulls to the other, and bring it all the way down onto the floor. And then we're going to rise back up. And again, it's a kind of a tension-based movement where you're actually using one leg pitted against the other and bringing it all the way down to the earth, and then raising it all the way back up. And this time we're going to stop at 45 degrees. So we have roughly a nice little float, if you will, of the knees up off the earth on the left side of the body. You're going to reach back with the right arm straight above the ear, and you're going to pull that arm long, pull the shoulder high for that nice side body release. And you're going to sweep the arm like the dial of a clock all the way down so it touches the hip, and then sweep it all the way back up. And then roll back onto the backside, switch up the legs, and
Go left first.
go left first.
Awesome.
That's what the boss says.
That's what you did on the side.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little massage of sorts for the muscles in and around the hips, but it's also a very good stretch and exercise for both. Slowly from side to side. Very important for this to be as effective as possible, that you're kind of working against each other, if you will. The legs resisting the movement of the other leg. On the next rotation, which is back to the right side for me, and if everyone kind of meets me here, 45-degree angle down, left arm extends all the way back, pull, pull, pull with that arm, make it nice and long. Keep the arm pulling long and dial it all the way down to the hip, and then dial it all the way back. And as you dial it down this time, roll back onto the backside, pull your knees up and into the chest. Bring your forehead up and into the knees. You're gonna rock and roll forward to back and come all the way up to a seated position with the legs extended straight up. Take your hands, bring them down in between the legs and start walking them. As you walk, let the spine go into flexion. Let the upper body just descend in between the legs. Flex the feet. Step your hands onto the toes. Now, as you extend the spine and inhale, I'd like you to pull the toes into the body. You've rocked over top of them, right? Yeah, so now pull the shoulders back, proud out the chest, grow the spine nice and long. Feel that nice lengthening through that back part of the legs, right along the knees, maybe down into the plantar region of the foot. And release all of that, come into a seated position. Cross your legs, whatever style you prefer. All right, and then let's bring hands over heart. Inhale along the spine, keep the spine long as you exhale, and let me thank you for joining us today. Hope you had a great day. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
That's good.